All right, welcome back. This is Morning Cafe. I'm yours truly, Stanley Nyaringit, and a very, very good morning to you. In case you're just joining us on Monday around 9 to 10, we do matters first aid, and I just tell you what you need to know concerning the whole safety around you. And today, as a whole, my background just looks like the whole fire. In case you're in a room right now, in a whole enclosed room, and a fire breaks out, however small or quite huge it is, do you know the first thing that you need to know? To do and all that. And joining us for this conversation, he's not a new face, a whole pro on all this matters, fire extinguishers, Jose Njoki,
yes.
A fire safety officer from, you can tell us where you're from. Africa Fire Mission and all that.
Africa Fire Mission. Yes, my name is Jose Njoki Emwe Ngunjiri. I'm a firefighter by profession, and also I'm a fire safety officer working with Africa Fire Mission.
All right.
Yes.
So, what's the first thing if I was in a room in my cabin sitter and I probably forgot the gas on and fire started? I'd probably gone to buy some 2 avocados, and then I come back and I find the whole apartment is burning up.
Oh.
Or rather, my house, the bed sitter just started burning up. What's the first thing that I need to do?
So it depends. If you're inside, the first thing you do, of course, reflex action just calls you to panic. So usually what we say is, do not panic. Yeah? And then if you do not panic, you will know what to do next. Yeah? I've always advocated for each and every household to have a fire extinguisher. Yeah? And there are different types of fire extinguishers which we handle in the other time that I was here. But then also, as soon as you find that there is fire, ask yourself, what is burning?
Okay.
Yeah. Is it electrical? Is it cooking liquid oil? What is it that is burning? Once you can be able to identify as quick as 3 seconds, you will know what extinguishing agent to use on that burning fire.
All right, and good thing we have about 3 fire extinguishers here. They are of different sizes. You'll be telling us how different they are really. And Absolutely. Back at home, or wherever you are watching us from, you can always call us live 0795 045 864. Be as audible as possible, mute your TV, and or rather just switch it off and ask Jose all those questions you have regarding matters fire. You've probably experienced one, or you've probably seen one, firsthand, and you didn't really know what to do, or rather, you're actually just preparing yourself. What do you need to do when it comes to the whole safety of a fire? 0793 267 279 is our WhatsApp number. So we started on that.
Correct.
And so you'll be taking us through, before we get into the whole fire extinguishers.
Yes.
You can walk us through the drill of. Because Julia, when you're at home, is it different from when I'm in the office?
Yes, it's very different because home, I usually call home my relaxation place. Haitaki kelele. Yeah. So for me, home is a place that I relax. So what is recommended is you have 2 way outs, 2 exits. In fact, even before I get to the 2 exits, there is actually a drill in the home that is called, it's an acronym called EDITH, E-D-I-T-H.
Okay.
Exit drills in the home. Yeah. You need to know, if I blindfold you now and you're in your home, for example, will you know where the back door is? Will you know where the front door is? Will you know where your kitchen is? If you're living in a bedsitter, that's a little bit different because it's either 1 exit and maybe 1 big window. Yeah. Another thing that I recommend, even as we do the drills in the home, your window that is actually taken to be the second way out, because most of the houses don't have a second, a back door. Yeah. They usually is just a window. So in that window of yours, you need to have at least, because of the thugs and everybody, people just put a lot of they called grills.
Yeah, the grills.
They put grills, and there's really galvanized grills. But then it poses a danger to you as Stanley when you're actually inside and there's fire. And the door is actually compromised. where shall you run away?
Plus, it's metallic. I mean, that's a whole other thing because...
That's a whole other thing. It gets hot.
Yes, it gets hot. Even when you want to even open it, you get burnt.
You get burnt. So drills in the home, I usually say it's mandatory. At least you do it once a month. Yeah, once a month. But then because of your children and everybody else, you just do it maybe once in 3 months because the children are in school and they're busy in class and things like that. So at least once in 3 months, you do a drill. Yeah.
Though in most of these apartments, let's say in Nairobi, the whole high-rise apartments, it's a whole 5-6-story building. They rarely do this. I mean, it's one of those things that you're telling them right now, they're wondering. It's always everyone minds their own business as long as they come into the house and do all that. But then when fire breaks out in one of the houses, it obviously affects everyone in that apartment.
It's an unfortunate thing, Stanley, because it's a cultural thing. Yeah, we react. Yeah, as Kenyans, we love to react. Look at what is happening with the floods. We are reacting. So we need to be prepared. What if? We need to have that situation of what if. And as I say, because it's called a nucleus family, what does it mean? It is you, your wife, and your children. Yeah. If everybody else doesn't want to do it the nucleus way. Okay. Yeah. And then also number 2, even as you do the drill, you need to train your children or even the household, your house help and the shamba people and everybody else. When there's a fire, yes, we try fight it. Yeah, in its early stages, incipient stages. But then it gets out of control, wachana nayo. Let it burn. And then we need to go and assemble in a certain place that we agree as a nucleus family. So if it is an apartment, it is actually a recommendation for your information. The Building Codes 2007, yeah, Fire Safety Act 2007. It actually tells us that we need to actually do drills, yeah, from home to the offices. Like in the offices, sometimes when you do drills, guys go like, oh man, I'm doing my reports. Dude, this is normal. Si sahi bana. Mbona tuite sante tufanye, but ale kuna chomeka, my friend. Yeah, it becomes another thing altogether. So because, for example, someone is hearing you talk about a drill for the first time right now. Walk us through if you're the person who was leading that drill. And for example, because we've started in a house setup, in a house scenario, either be it private residence, whole 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, or rather a whole apartment, and someone is there with a 1-bedroom, and it's a 5-story. Walk us through the drills. If you're the one leading, practically, what should they know of this drill? How the first step all the way to the last? Okay. The first step that people should know is have the fire brigade number. Yeah, the Nairobi fire brigade number. Yeah, I've had lazima iwak. The Nairobi fire brigade number is sorry. So
that's if you're living in Nairobi?
If you're living in Nairobi, sorry, yes. So if you're living in Nairobi, you have to have a fire brigade number. Even other places. Okay. Though right now, you can even call the 999 number, and then it will be diverted to your county. Okay, all right. That takes a little bit longer. So I need you to at least have your fire brigade number of your county. It kills the response time. Okay. Once you have the fire brigade number 2, if you're living in an apartment, do not use the elevator. Even though it is a 2-story building or a 3-story building, once you hear there's a drill or there's a real fire, you have heard that there's a car burning in the parking lot, do not use the
elevator.
The elevator. Okay. Number 3, only fight the fire when it's on its incipient stages.
What does that mean?
Don't fight the fire if it is extremely big. Okay. Yeah, even just call the fire brigade. You know? When you find that, hey, moto iko umejaribu ku fight more than this container, and then you brought another container na imekataa, and the fire is building up. You've already called, actually what you need to do first, call the fire brigade, and then start fighting the fire. Yeah?
So for example, because let's say a scenario where it's a 5-story building, and the number of people who reside here, it's probably a weekend, so that means there are more
everybody's
people here.
at home.
Yeah, everybody's at home, so it's more than about 100 people.
Correct.
So you've someone has called the fire brigade. So the whole process of, and you've told us,
moving,
don't use the elevator.
Correct.
Yes, this apartment has. So everyone has used the stairs and walked out and assembled somewhere.
So there's a process of walking out, and that's where I was going.
Yeah.
When there are some fire marshals who are fighting the fire, and most of the fire marshals are the security guards who are really already trained.
Yeah.
Guys leave their homes. If your house is knocked, that there's fire, usianza kusema hiyo ni hoax. No, you just get out, but do not run. Just walk fast. But then if you find people really scrumming outside, I usually tell people, get onto the wall, back on the wall, and then go down the stairs, okay? Until down, because you will be tripped. Yeah, you will be tripped. And then what if you have an invalid and there's fire? Yeah, these are the things that in first aid we call lift and carry things. So there are other places that you can lift. You can either 2 people, they come sit on your arm, and then they hold you like this, and then now you go down the stairs, pole pole, just slowly until the fire assembly point. It is not a point of saying, because I'm safe, now let me go to a mall and have tea. Ikiisha, I'll be back. No, you go to a primary assembly point. What is the main role of a primary assembly point in the fire drill? Is to do a head count. On first floor, house number A1, there are 5 people living in that house. Now, you, Stanley, as a dad, you need to tell us if all the 5 are accountable. If they are not, bro, no going back. Somebody's inside there. No, it is not your job to go back. There's an incident in Mombasa another time. The lady went back for her 2-year-old baby. They didn't come out, both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And did you know what? Smoke kills faster than fire itself.
Right.
Yeah, because smoke takes up the oxygen. And you remember the other time I was mentioning about smoke detectors?
Yeah.
You need to have a smoke detector in your home. They are readily available in the shops in Luthuli and in the market. You can actually get to purchase them as little as even 2K.
Right.
That 2K gadget put on top will recognize the smoldering fire. Ile moto tu kadogo ya
alafu ianze kulia titi.
Inalia mpaka, I have it even right here, maybe we can check it later on. It gives a crazy noise. Even though you're drunk, bro, you'll wake up.
So now, because we've already mentioned the whole process of yoyote, the whole drill, I want us to now get into the fire extinguishers. And just a reminder, in case you're watching us, and you're watching us this morning, the number to call in live, 0795 0458 64. Jose will be answering all your questions pertaining the whole safety when it comes to fire outbreak. Imetokea, and you're wondering, what do I do? Because we have fire extinguishers, and you advised us at least kuwa na moja.
Kuwa na moja?
Kwa nyumba.
Kwa hao.
So we have 3 here.
Yeah.
So the first one here is
powder extinguisher.
Powder fire extinguisher.
Yes.
And they have the whole process of even opening it.
Correct.
So this one is a CO2.
Carbon dioxide. Yes.
What do you have?
This is actually a powder.
Oh, it's
mostly in our homes and even in offices. Powder and CO2 is recommended.
Powder and CO2, both of them?
Both of them. If you cannot do both, just do one. At home, instead of having 2, I would say a carbon dioxide and a fire blanket.
Okay.
Yes, a fire blanket, it is used just to put onto a burning in your kitchen, to put on top of the burning stuff, and then it cuts off the oxygen.
All right. So if I don't have the fire blanket, can I just use the blanket that I have?
No. Yes and no. I'd say yes, because if you do not have any other way, what do? You use what you have. Yeah. But then you need to put it in the water to actually let it not burn very fast and put it onto the flames. But you see now the risk of that. What if it is a cooking a cooking fire.
Okay.
I mean, liquid oil.
Liquid oil.
Yeah, and it's hot. And then you put the water inside the liquid oil. It will explode. And in fact, when you put water into liquid, hot liquid cooking oil, it multiplies 1,700 times its quantity.
Wow.
So your whole house will be engulfed because of the steam that has already popped out.
Right. Now let's get into the extinguishers. So I can see the first step it tells me is pull out.
Pull out the pin. Actually, there are different parts of an extinguisher.
Okay.
Just to go quickly. Please. There's actually, what you're holding on, we call it the horn.
Okay.
Yeah, and why it is called the horn? Because the agent that is inside is actually compressed carbon dioxide.
Okay.
But then, when this carbon dioxide is, and we're going to actually experience it, when it's out, it gets out from here, it's extremely cold. Actually, it can burn your fingers.
For real?
That's why actually you're holding it with your hands like that. And then there is the nozzle that you get at least to aim the fire from a distance.
Okay.
And then there's a safety pin, handle, a trigger at the top and handle, and then the extinguisher itself.
Right.
For the CO2, the color code, the universal color code is black.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes you might not be red, but you might find the whole extinguisher black. So don't get afraid. Go like, hey, extinguisher kwani iko aje? No, it's just the color coding.
Right.
So when you get onto this particular fire, the fire is about a meter away.
A meter away. So
do not go as close to it. About a meter is okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing you do, of course, it is put on the wall.
Oh, yes.
You lift it up, put it on the ground. If it is too heavy, like now it is very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuone
uzito yake iko quite heavy, so you put it down. But then when you're putting it down, of course you remove the handle.
Yeah. It was tucked in here.
Yes, it was tucked in here. So of course you remove it.
Remove it, okay.
And then you put it on the side. Now,
so
this is for CO2 is a clean agent.
Yeah.
Here powder, what you're going to do practically, don't do it at home with this powder. The whole house will actually be powdered. So you pull out the pin.
Okay, so I pull
you
that.
Drop it down.
Okay.
And then the fire is right there.
Mahali hapo katikati.
Yeah. But before you start fighting the fire, you test. You test the what? The extinguisher to see it's working. How do you test it? Just by the side. Alafu, hebu jaribu kufinya. Just
okay.
Umesikia hiyo noise? So it usually gives quite some noise. Mpaka mtu ana like, yeah, it startles you, yeah? But then notice one thing. The whitish, that's just the compressed. And it can really get cold.
It's quite cold.
Yeah, so after testing, now, you, what have you said? You pull out the pin, and then you aim. There's actually an acronym of that. PASS. Pull out the pin. Of course, you test it.
Yeah,
and then you aim at the base of the fire.
So now, somewhere at the middle there.
Not the middle. Right at the ground.
The base. Ground, okay.
Yes, at the base where the fire is starting. You find people fighting the remnants. What are the remnants of fire? Smoke. Panic. Forget about it. Just aim at the base of the fire. And then there's a S. You squeeze the trigger. You see now you've already squeezed it to test it.
Okay.
And then after you squeeze this trigger, you actually sweep. You sweep the handle from left to right and right to left. Yeah? Like this. Just try.
So from
either right to left or left to right. It does.
So do I press it?
Yes, I'm here.
Full?
Yeah.
All right.
So once you do that, do not do it so fast without stopping. Unaona vile tu umefanya for like 3 seconds. You hit it and wait. You hit and wait.
So for how long?
Until the fire is extinguished.
No, like do I? Okay, I'll have to try again.
Please do.
So
that's one.
So okay.
And then the next repeat. You watch if the fire is out. Yeah, you watch if the fire is out. If it is not out, you hit it again at the base of without panicking. Yeah, and the reason for that is less is more. People think that when they use it more, is when the fire is going to be extinguished. No. Remember, Stanley, we are fighting this fire on its incipients. Vile tu imeanza hivi, pap, ndo na start. Okay, not really pap vile imeanza hivi because actually you are...
There was the reaction time and all that.
Yes, you know. Lakini ukifind this whole room is on fire, forget. Listen, hata usitumie. Yeah.
And because let's say, haitakuwa this one spot. Inaweza kuwa, let's say, from one place all the way. It has stretched all the way. Do you now start one by one, hivyo pole pole, but you go entirely?
Entirely, exactly. You do it entirely and then release. Entirely, release. Entirely, release. This is only used for like maybe 3 minutes, out. That is why it is just for, it's actually called, extinguishers are used for first aid of fire. Yeah. Watu wengine wanasema, hizi extinguishers ifanyi kazi. No, of course haitafanya kazi kama moto ni kubwa. The fire engine itself is a fire extinguisher. It's a different type of fire extinguisher that holds about, others hold about 10,000 liters of water.
Right.
So isipofanya kazi, the fire brigade is already on the way. In fact, don't even panic. Fire brigade itakuja na umezima moto. They'll just shake your hand. They'll go like, I think you should put in your application.
Part of us. And particularly, even for the house managers, the whole domestic workers, let's say the whole household, wataenda kazi or shule, and the house managers utabaki. What do they really need to know when it comes to, I mean, you've told us, you know, how they they use this, but then let's say they're in a house, and they really want to use this, but then what do they wear at this time? Because I mean, there's a whole smoke around them. Should they be covering their noses? Tell us about that.
So when fighting fire, you really don't have to see what you're wearing, but then you have to be watchful of what you've worn. Yeah, because if you're in a dera, for example, it is or a shuka. Is it a shuka or a leso? Sorry, I meant a leso.
A leso, okay.
So kama inaning'inia, if it is just loose, it might catch fire. So you might want to put the whole dera or and
just tuck it in between
your legs and then fight the fire. It's really not necessary to actually put a mask, because this is...
It's reaction. So
you've not panicked. I actually train house managers on house fires, because apparently my burns that you see were it was about 44 years ago, you know, and a house manager left me in the house. So you can imagine house helps right now. The house belongs to them. So your job, your job, movies and all those things. But then the thing is, when you train them on how to use this, when you train them that they need to, when you're boiling water, stand by your boiling water. When you're cooking, stand by your cooking pan. Usikuwe tu unaenda watch, una cook, alafu unaenda watch TV 47 news. No. You're going to watch it on the other platforms. You first of all focus on the cooking. Alafu baadaye ukuje uone news.
So Jose, tumeangalia CO2, but mtu anauliza labda kako na hiyo ingine.
This is okay. Now, disclaimer. Why do I recommend this? This is very good for household items. If, for example, you're cooking alafu ikawaka kwa kitchen, you can heat it, the food, na kama ijashura sana, or shura, what is shura?
Kuungua.
Kama ijaungua sana, what do? You can even continue eating. Did you know that? Because actually, this is just carbon dioxide. It is actually the air that you're breathing out. So there's no effect. You'll continue eating and it's healthy.
Interesting.
You can take that to the bank. Yeah. Now, that is what is recommended for the home. This is also recommended for the home. But then the danger of this is that, number one, you will not be able to eat your food. And number two, your appliances, gone.
That's the powder one.
That's the powder. Gone. You know?
Do they work the same effect nikitumia hapa CO2 on this fire that we had here, as well as the powder, is the effect the same on extinguishing this fire?
So the powder, what happens, it actually covers everything. Whatever is burning, ni kama the agent that is inside here, it's like unga. Oh. Yeah, it just covers it. It's like flour. It covers the whatever is burning. So it eliminates the oxygen, you know. Somewhat it reduces the heat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but this one, it eliminates the oxygen outright. That is why it is not recommended for outdoor. Though when we are training you on how to use it, we train you outdoor, but then we'll extinguish the fire and then it will reignite. Why? Because oxygen has been introduced on that item that is burning. But in the house, over here, it's controlled oxygen, isn't it? So when I hit it, for it to reignite, it will take time. So powder extinguisher, yes, it is okay. I would say, I would use this powder extinguisher when in the parking lot. Yeah, you notice in our parking lot, I would say, there's this powder. Yeah. But then in our kitchen,
this one will be there.
Yes, it will be there. Haiwezi kosekana.
Someone watching, they're wondering, why is it that the CO2 has this horn while the powder doesn't have it?
Correct. So this horn is because of where, if it was just the nozzle itself, did we give the parts of the extinguisher? No, we didn't. If the nozzle, when you hold it like this, if it's on that, your fingers will not come out from there.
Because actually right now I can feel the cold, the temperature on this one. It's quite cold.
Yes, it's cold. So that's the reason for that horn. And also number two, it helps to distribute that agent at a longer. You saw how it's spread out. Yeah.
Do you need the horn for this, for the powder?
No, you don't need the horn. Actually, this one, it needs to be sharp, you see? More like a sharp nozzle.
Right.
Yeah. And then you aim still at the base of the fire, not very close. Because it's already, there's a, you notice, there's actually a gauge.
Oh, yes.
There's a gauge over here. It shows you that this is actually serviced. Yeah, it's actually serviced.
About 15 on the... What?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
It means it is on... it means that it's on its right place to meet. The pressure that has been put inside here is safe to you as the user. And number two, it is... it can extinguish the fire very fast without any issues at a distance.
Okay. Now I'm curious because tulikuwa tumejaribu ya hii ya CO2 for the powder. Are we also able to?
No, let's not do it. You'll turn white. Your suti yako ya bei yote ita turn white. For me, I don't have an issue because this is my work clothes.
So just imaginatively, even for someone who's watching, na pia mimi niki. So if I was to have it at this level,
correct,
will itarudi nyuma?
No.
Ama
ukishapatiana ikishasukuma iende kwa moto, if it pushes that agent that is inside onto the fire, of course after some time, because of the air movement around you, of course it will come to you. Yeah. So you really need to be very fast, and
so
you know, that's why you hit it and then stop, because this one sometimes can be really a menace. You know, you hit it, then leave, hiyo moto imeisha. Kama ijaisha, you hit it again. Na kama an example that the whole fire is here, you just...
Once...
Shh. Okay, I'm doing it casually, but then utakuwa pia you are a little bit afraid, so you might do it a little bit faster, because also you just have like 4 minutes max using this. Yeah, as I said again, and I've repeated it a million times, this is just for first aid of fire. But what if you what if ulikuwa unafanya barbecue, you invited us for your promotion thingy, and then ushike moto?
Interesting bit, because now we're focusing on now extinguishing on the ground. But then now how about for someone who's getting burned? Exactly.
Because sometimes the danger of you getting so close to the fire, bro, is that it might back up on you. You know, it backs up on you and you have your good linen shirt, you'll be on fire, bro. Yeah.
So people around me, should they be using these extinguishers to try?
So you can either use this in a distance to extinguish somebody, but you need to. There's actually a way of extinguishing yourself. It's called stop, drop, and roll. Yeah. We don't learn this in school. Thanks to CBC now, children as little as, I'm invited in schools, so many schools, yeah, as early as PP2. We teach them stop, drop, and roll, yeah. I don't know if you can be able to do it here. You stop.
How much space do you need?
Yeah, this is it.
So let me have this off for you.
Yeah.
So right now, for example, there's a fire on you right now.
Yes, there's fire on me right now.
Nikajaribu yangu sitaki kukujuia baridi yake.
Nasikia baridi sana.
Yeah, so I tried all that, but then it
didn't work.
Working. Yeah.
And if you do not have that, let's assume you do not have that, you will stop what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, of course you'll start screaming, Mom, Dad. Do people scream Dad? That's something for discussion.
Mama Mungu.
Mama or God. We forget our fathers. So you stop, and then you drop on the ground, flatter, and then you cover your face.
Right.
Yeah? Why do you cover your face? Because of the stones or the soil there. And then you roll from left to right and right to left. This is how you do it. You do it on the left. Is that left, right? Whatever, you just roll.
Okay.
You roll and roll. But then as I roll and roll, there's somebody else who has a piece of cloth, and they can actually be trying to remove the flames that are there. Or also they can have water. Doesn't matter what.
Water.
There's another place that another lady was getting burnt, and they were doing walikuwa wanapika chakula ya wedding. Wow, she was just, why? Sema mchele. Mchele alimwagia mchele yote. That's also an extinguishing agent, water. And she was saved, though she got a lot of burns on her hand. Yeah. But there's that. Yeah. Another thing that that is very important, Stanley, for us to mention for the home, even as we do on the drills, when you are exiting your home, usitoke kama unatembea straight. Don't leave when you're walking straight. Why? The smoke has already risen up. Yeah? Not so clean air, but clean air is on the ground. So what do you need to do? You need to kneel down.
Okay.
And then with your forelimbs, just like how the children crawl, you crawl outside. Yeah? And when you're crawling outside, what did I say? You crawl outside. Not below the table, not below the cupboard, not in the washing machine, not in the laundry room. Where? Outside. Yeah? You go outside to the fire assembly point. And even as you do that, if you are alone, if you're alone, you get out.
Yeah.
But if you're with other people, inform them in the rooms. You know, sometimes people nowadays, you call somebody in their house, when you go watch, the guy is on headphones. Yeah? So you need to go and knock their room and then tell them, hey, there's a fire, let's get out. And when they are afraid, let them hold your shirt and not your trouser.
Okay.
Yeah, they hold your shirt and then you go calling them out. I'll demonstrate. So if I'll call your name and then you'll say, yes. Stanley.
Yes.
Stanley.
Yes.
Let's get out. Stanley.
Yes.
You call.
Okay.
The reason for me calling your name, even though I know your name, we've been living together for all our lives, is to know your level of how afraid you are, and also even alertness. Because nasema tuende, kumbe mazi ulishazirai. Ulizirai huko nyuma.
Probably umefaint.
Umefaint, you're lost air, umepanic. Because there are some people who panic.
And they can't really talk.
Yeah, they can't talk. I train people on how to use an extinguisher. I am there with them. But man, anashekile ukweli mwako naambia, relax. I'm here. And you have to do, the person who's actually afraid is the person actually for you to train. You know, they want to do it and you have to assist them to actually get the fear out.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a scrolling under smoke, and there's now the stop, drop, and roll. That is very vital for old people, children, and also house help to know how to use.
All right. And now, because you have experience in all this extinguishing fires for quite a number of years, when you get into a building and there's the whole fire, can you ascertain at the moment what type of a fire it is and the cause of the fire, be it electrical, be it probably arson? Can you ascertain just by walking in?
Yes, as firefighters, we recommend when there's a fire, of course, you call the fire brigade, okay, of your county. But then, if you have already extinguished the fire, do not go and mendle the fire. Don't mess up with the, what do we call it, the evidence, you know, wachana nayo. Because if you mendle with the evidence, it will be very hard for us as the fire investigators to actually ascertain if was it electrical, was it an arson? Because you see now, for example, an arson attack, we'll go as far as checking even the window. Yeah? Maybe somebody threw a petrol bomb from outside into the house. So it will go and create a certain pattern. If it is an electrical fire, the socket, there's a pattern it gives, yeah, towards the ceiling. Yeah? But then if you go and start removing the copper wires on the wall, it will go, I'll go like, where? Yes, I'll say that it is an electrical fire, but it will give me a ton of time. So help us to make the investigation easier by not touching evidence.
Evidence.
Yeah.
How about extinguishing this fire? Is it for different types of fires? Is it the same way how you extinguish it?
Yes, it is the same. When you use the fire extinguisher, you just use the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the trigger, and then sweep the nozzle at the base of the fire. It is the same technique in, let me say, all the fires. For example, like this powder extinguisher that I'm not recommending, if you do not mind your items getting messed up, you can actually get to use, if it's the only one, maybe in the parking lot, you grab it, bring it to the house, and then use it the same way. The beautiful thing about home fires is most of them are usually in the kitchen. If not in the kitchen, in the sitting room. You've noticed sometimes maybe you just have one multi-plug, or what we call, people call it the power strip. You know, don't overload your power strip, you know, or your multi-plug. If you overload it, there's going to be sparks, you know, and then guess what? The fire will start, and utaamshwa na moshi, and you don't want that.
For wengine wanajua ni extension too.
Any extension too.
Now, there's also, because you're saying there's the kitchen, there's a sitting room, as well as the bedroom. Let's say, for example, kunatumia pasi. Yes. How often does that happen?
Pasi, it's very interesting. About the year 2000, in Nairobi, Nyayo Estate, on a Sunday, there was a fire, and when the investigation came, they saw that the fire came from the bedroom. On further investigating, they saw that it is actually an iron box that caused that fire. You know, an iron box that caused that fire. So whenever you are doing something, however busy you are, even though it is a boss calling on your phone, if boss is calling, it's urgent, switch off the iron box, talk to the boss. If you're cooking and it's urgent, switch off the cooker, talk to boss. And if boss can actually wait, you tell, hey boss, I can call you after 2 minutes. That is good and understanding boss. So bedroom fires are usually iron box, our phones. Tuko na ile tabia ya tunaweka simu hapa na charger iko connected na iko just next to me hapa. Ndio nisikose kuamka.
Usikie alarm.
Bro.
How dangerous is that?
That one is extremely dangerous. That is dangerous because you don't know the health of that particular charger of yours. Kwanza zingine I've seen it. So many people, hapo mbele imekatika, unaona mtu anaweka sellotape ama masking tape, alafu iko karibu na na duvet. And you know duvet iko na material ingine very interesting.
So again, even where you place, let's say the phone is also matters.
It does matter. Don't put your phone on the bed at any one point. Put it next to the kwa meza pale unafanya uko na hizo
the whole products of face and everything.
Yes, exactly. Put it there, let it charge.
Okay.
Yeah, but then never ever put your phone in on the bed.
How about on the ground, where the tiles and all that?
I wouldn't recommend that too, especially now that there are so many floods. You've seen it has affected everybody, the rich, the poor, everybody. Yeah. So if you put it on the ground and there's electricity, just imagine what happens. And then unashuka kwenda to relieve yourself at night. Utachapwa shock. The ground there is already charged with electricity. Ukikanyaga hivi, we'll know you're home. Tutajua ushago kwenyu.
Right.
Yeah.
So now the fact that we've tackled home, as well as office, the whole drills of that. There's one place that you don't really get enough of the drills, and this is your car. A fire erupts inside a car.
Yeah.
You're probably in there, probably even driving, or probably just it was co-parking lot, and you're there, and the doors are locked, probably for one reason or another. What do you do? Because in the car you don't have this. You don't have the extinguishers. You don't have enough to actually extinguish this fire. The space inside a car is quite minimal.
Compromised,
yes.
Yeah.
And you're really trying to, open the door and even break the window. What do you do in this scenario?
Wow, the car is usually a scary bit. Yeah, and we've responded to several fires on the expressway, on Thika Road. If you look at social media, cars burning. Always have a working extinguisher in your car. Do you know?
This
size? No, there's actually a smaller one, 500 ml. I bet, sure bet, Stan, if we go to your car right now, you've not serviced your extinguisher.
I wish I had that car anyway.
Most of the people do not service the extinguisher. And here's a simple way of doing it.
Okay.
Because guys go like, no, your time, tutapata wapi. Now, when the extinguisher of your offices are being serviced, it is the time to actually go to your car, remove that extinguisher, equal part of the extinguishers that are going to be serviced. And then you get.
A quick one before we continue the whole car bit. Let's say you have this, I have it in the house, and I live alone, so I rarely use it. Does it expire, by the way?
Yeah, it does. The recommended time by law is actually 6 months service. After every 6 months, you need to service it. Yeah, it needs to. You see the reason for this gauge here, bro, is actually to tell if it falls on. If it's not on the green, doesn't matter the color in the middle. If this pin is not in the middle, it needs to be serviced. And after 6 months, it needs to go to be removed that powder and a new powder put back.
After every 6 months?
After every 6 months. Because it cakes. What does it mean to cake? It becomes like inakuwa ngumu, hard. Even though it has compressed air here. But then when you want to use it, it doesn't use.
And how about for the CO2?
For the CO2, it doesn't have, because they are moving molecules inside, and you find it in a car kama gas cylinder. For this one, you just test with the weight. If it is extremely light, unajua hapa, there's nothing.
Oh, all right. So here, haina tentative expiry.
After 6 months, I would suggest all of them need all of them need to go after 6 months, even for the car. Yeah, for the car after 6 months, you need to use it. Yeah, should we go back to the...
Yes, now back to the car.
Yes, so the car, if the doors have jammed, unanaka ka headrest, the headrest in your car, remove it. There's a place that you can remove it. You've tried to bang, mekata, sunroof, imejam. Just remove it. And then the edge, one edge of the, by the way, it is meant for that, for your information. People don't know. The edge of that headrest, unachapa window, at the edge. At the edge of the window. Just hit it. Bah! But of course, you hit it when you're when you're facing like this, away from, so that you don't get things jumping on your eyes.
The shattered glass on your face.
Shattered glass on your eyes. And then now, of course, you come out fast. Okay, this is where the selfishness comes as human beings. You come out fast.
Oh, so this is a scenario where you are not alone.
When you're not alone.
Okay, yeah.
You come out fast and then you save the rest. Don't save the rest.
Okay.
Save yourself first. Yeah, because you came alone first, isn't it? And then you came and knew me as a buddy. Yeah, come out and then now get the rest outside. Now, if you have an extinguisher, and this is another scenario, if the doors can open, you go to the boot, remove the extinguisher, and then try as fast as you can, from a distance, safe distance, to actually spray that extinguisher to the fire itself. But then you already called the
fire brigade. And because you've extinguished quite a number of these car fires, what's the most common cause?
Wow, there are several causes. Number one, you might find leaking fuel. People not taking their car. Gari yako inakuonesha all the 17 lights on the dashboard, but unasema na hii economy.
Itafika tu.
Itafika tu. Yes, itafika lakini sisi ndio tutakufikisha. You know. So fuel, you find electrical faults. You find that you're using bad batteries. You know, every time when William say, can you? Najua una watu wanaombaga mtu akufast charge wanakuaga na red and black on the road. Every time it's William say. So don't do that. Just have your battery changed.
Okay.
Yeah, so battery issues, you might find hot wheels. You know, you've really driven from Mombasa to Nairobi non-stop. You didn't even have a stopover at Kikope or something to have something for at least to rest your mind.
And also to have the car to
cool off. In fact, the main aim for you to rest, of course, is to rest your back, but then also to make the car cool down.
Right.
Yeah. So cool down. So that's the hot wheels. There's the electrical and there's the fuel.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Help us with your final tips. Your words of advice for someone who's just a summary of what you've been telling us.
Yeah.
The whole safety when it comes to fires around where we are.
Yeah. For me, words of advice is do not panic. Just get to know what is burning. Yeah. And in the house, try and avoid using every cause of fire is not water. You know, just think of other ways you can get to extinguish the fire, because you can use water on electricity, it gets onto you. That's tip number one. Tip number two, stop, drop, and roll if you're on fire.
Yeah.
Number three, crawl under smoke. And number four, bro, Leo, endo keke fire brigade number hapo hivyo 020 22 22 181. That's the fire brigade number for Nairobi.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're listening to this and uko mahali a whole high-rise apartment, ambia caretaker you need a drill on all this.
Yes.
And all that. And because it has been a very hot conversation, lazima tumalizie na hii. Asante sana Foster.
Yes, brother.
Asante sana.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yes, from Africa
Fire
Mission. Asante sana, and asante sana to everyone who has stick around. Oh yes. All right. And asante sana to all those director na niambia nimalizie na hiki.
Umalizie na
asante sana.
Chapa mahali hapa mpaka to disappear.
Asante sana to all those who have tuned in, to all the callers we've had, to all those who have interacted with us. On behalf of the entire crew right here, and on behalf of Freddy Diboli, tulikuwa naye asubuhi. We do this every single Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. all the way to 10 a.m. This is Morning Cafe. I'm used to Stanley Nyaringita.